This is an anti-spoiler video to prevent you from knowing beforehand that this matchup only went to 2 games instead of the full 3. Ignore the title, there is no third match, Coltaine won 2 in a row. Visit the blog at dnd-d.com for special DM commentary on the Coltaine vs Wintier matchup. Don't forget to place your bets on next week's matchup, Morgan the Human Paladin vs Sorrow the Tiefling Wizard. Leave a comment here stating who you are betting on and how much you bet. If this is your first time betting, you have 100 GP to bet with. If you've bet before, your current total is in the text description below. Once again, at the end of the tournament, the viewer with the most gold in the bank will have an NPC named after them in the Drogans' second adventure, which will begin right after the tourney. Morgan vs Sorrow will be a battle of opposites. Light versus dark, melee versus ranged, divine versus arcane, holy knight versus fiendish tiefling. With regards to hit points and defenses, our 2 combatants are, surprisingly, fairly evenly matched. But the paladin class is one of the best suited for 1v1 battles, because it can tank hits, it can heal itself, and it can dish out serious damage. In fact, for purposes of this tournament, everything Coltaine can do, Morgan can do better. In many ways, Morgan vs Sorrow will be similar to Coltaine vs Wintier. Sorrow will want to keep out of Morgan's devastating melee range. Sorrow is faster than Morgan, but not as fast as Wintier. However, she does have an at-will spell that can slow Morgan, but it targets Morgan's highest defense. As with the first matchup, the determining factor will be whether Sorrow can keep away from Morgan. The difference is that, with Coltaine and Wintier, Coltaine's player had more combat experience than Wintier's. In this matchup, Sorrow's player is a seasoned combat veteran. But can that experience win out over Morgan's devastating build? Ladies and gentlemen, place your bets. The rest of this video will be the post-battle banter of the Coltaine vs Wintier matchup.
I don't get how you close the distance so fast.
It's called spending an entire turn moving, and I'm slow.
Like, it was still a pretty close match. And I think the second after I made my move when, okay, so I made that very lucky crit on Nick, and then Nick moved to the right, and I in turn moved away to the east as well. The second I did that, I realized I sort of thought like, oh, Nick's gonna do pretty much the same thing, and I thought, oh, I should probably move in the opposite direction and just like ready another attack, because like there's a good area right here where I can see everything pretty well coming at me, so if I had a ready to attack, it would put me at an advantage. Instead, I put myself against a wall where he could just put me against a wall.
And I have to stop putting myself up against a wall knowing that people further away can see me and I can't see them. I should have stayed in this corner.
Now I wonder if Doug had done that nimble strike the first time and not provoked that opportunity attack, how the rest of the battle would have panned out.
That's the thing, like, all he needs, the only difference is like him missing once. You know, he did 8 damage and then it would have been Hunter's Quarry on his nimble strike would have been a minimum of 1 damage and I would have died. I think in both situations it's just an unlucky miss that changes it. But I've got the high AC and...
No, I think it's close, but it is still in Nick's favor because he has a higher AC, and like all he really does have to do is close the distance.
Right, but as soon as he closes the distance, your immediate focus should not be on moving and attacking, but on pure retreat, repositioning to a strategic location, because again, you run faster than him, so he won't be able to catch up to you until you can get off another shot.
Yeah, but in both these situations too, I was in a wall, against a wall, where I couldn't shift and run. All I could do was shift and shift.
But that's because you put yourself in one of those situations by backing yourself against a wall.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I'm just saying that I could envision a scenario in which you could have played keep away a little more. It would have dragged the battle out longer. We would have had to use the stalemate, you know, prevention mechanism.
Yeah, that is true. But I mean, I could have played smarter. But also, I the biggest problem, I think, was me underestimating how far Nick can actually travel.
In fact, I was envisioning Wintier winning the first round, and then just because he would be playing keep away, and then in the second round Nick would swap out to his halberd to get that extra reach in order to better be able to hit Wintier to compensate for his slower move.
And of course, then I'd suffer a lower AC without my shield.
Well, it's a small shield, right? You'd lose 1 AC for, you know, 1 extra distance of attacking.
Yeah, it's not a bad trade.
But I do roll 20s. I roll 20s a lot easier than 21s. Like I think 20 has actually been my most my average roll, I guess, throughout the campaign.
Well, I mean, your rolls aside, the difference between 20 and 21 is you have a 5% better chance of hitting him.
Technically, your average roll should be like an 18. Well, no, not technically, but if you take 10, you'd be getting 18.
Well,
So I mean, without a doubt, yeah, you'd be able to hit him easier, but you know, it's an obvious trade-off. So I was hoping we would see some interesting dynamics happen, but Nick didn't have to change his strategy at all.
I did have to heal myself this time.
Yeah, healing's cheating.
Like that critical early on was vicious. Because also, the thing you could do with Wintier is just if you keep running away and then use your readied action, that could be really devastating to me.
Also, I mean, it's unfortunate that you only have that one daily power to ready, because the fact that it's a ready action means that he can shake off the effects before they even affect him. In other words, because it's happening on his turn, he doesn't take that 5 damage, the 5 ongoing damage, if he saves at the end of this round.
True. I also didn't expect him to be so good at saving.
Saves aren't, like, you only have to get above a 10 in this game, right?
Yeah, you have a 55% by default. Being a human, he has a 60%, right? And then do you have some kind of other power or something? Yeah, that +4 to charisma. So overall, I have like what 75% chance of succeeding on a save if you use that power. Probably more.
80% if I use the power, 60% if I'm not. Those are good odds to beat off saving throw effects.
Man, it's almost worth just doing a twin strike in that case, because then I get double the chance to hit with not quite as much damage, but still.